Hey, what's going on, guys? Chris Chaos back here with yet another glorious predictions video, of course. Because why not? This is what I do. I make bold predictions, I stand behind them, and then if I'm right, I jump up and yell and scream and cuss, and if I'm wrong, you don't hear from me for a week. Nah, it's never that bad. Uh, Strikeforce tomorrow night. Fedor Emelianenko, I can never say his name right, versus Dan Henderson. Hendo! Dan the man. But that's not really what I'm excited about. Honest to God, that's not really what I'm excited about. Tomorrow night, I'm excited because Misha Tate finally, son of a bitch, finally gets her shot at not only Marlos Kunin, which is, I wish it was still Sarah Kaufman, but gets her shot at the women's welterweight title. Yes, the 135-pound title, and I cannot wait at all for this. Team Alpha Male has, I predicted late last month, that Team Alpha Male was going to have a phenomenal July. They were going to start the month off with Uriah Faber winning the bantamweight title, and going to cap it off with Misha winning the women's welterweight title. Now, that didn't happen exactly, but I still say that this Uriah had a great fight. Okay, let's not. That was a phenomenal fight, and I want to see. I want to see Chapter 3, just like everybody else. It has to happen. It has to happen sometime. Now, the next bantamweight title fight's already been made and booked for UFC 138, I think, for in wherever. But eventually, that fight has to happen again. Now, it might be another 2-3 years, but it'll happen. Uh, but let's cut that off and let's just get to what's at hand right now. Real quick, my predictions: Scott Smith, uh, Paul Daly, Robbie Lawler, Misha Tate, and Dan Henderson. Those are my predictions for the paper, or for the, well, yeah, it is on pay-per-view. Or if you have Showtime, then you get to see it for free. I have said for 2 years that I love the concept of women's mixed martial arts, because for everybody that knows me as being the wrestling guy, I'm like not an expert at mixed martial arts, and I'll be the first person to tell you. As far as wrestling goes, I know my shit, and I I always try to push along people's interest in women's wrestling, because I think that just because that is a men's dominated uh, profession, for the lack of a better term, because if I say one thing, I'm liable to piss somebody off. I say another thing. It's wrestling. It's a sport. It's supposed to be a sport. A lot of people don't see it that way, but who cares? I feel like just because it's a men's dominated profession, that doesn't mean the women can't do it. And I have been a fucking huge advocate of women's wrestling the past 2 years, and been very critical of it as well. Uh, I'm going to be the same almost with women's mixed martial arts. I want WMMA, if you will, to expand and just blow up. And hey, Maybe one day they'll be like, UFC, and then Strikeforce, and then the third biggest one will be like a all women's mixed martial arts company, and that's what it is. That's just women. That's all it is. Not because I like to see hot chicks beat the mess out of each other. I mean, that's part of it, sure, but because I'm a big advocate, and you know what? They can do that shit too. They can do that shit too. And besides, what's different between me wanting to watch Misha Tate fight and some chick wanting to watch Tito Ortiz fight or Uriah Faber? Yeah, I mean, really, two good-looking guys. No homo, of course, but and no judgment if you are. Uh, but that's just the way I feel about it. And I want to see it expand and grow and everything. And I think that Misha could be one of the girls to do it. Uh, Now that I've got that out of the way, uh, I want to shout out Shoot Media on Twitter. Go look them up. They did a great documentary on Misha Tate leading into this fight. I don't know if they did one for Marlos Kunin or not, but they did one for Misha, and it was pretty good. I mean, it was really good. I learned a lot about the person, which that's kind of my thing. Whether it be any sport, baseball, basketball, football, wrestling, uh, just anything. The more I know about the person, the more connected I feel to them. And so right now, I feel really connected to Misha. And by the way, I just want to say how much I love Misha Tate. She's preparing for the biggest fight of her career. She's only 24. She's got many bigger fights left ahead. But up to now, this is her biggest fight. And she, for the last week, and even before then, has been tweeting and talking to her fans. Why? How do I know this? Because for one, I follow her on Twitter, and two, she replied to me, and she retweeted one of my things, one of my tweets. So I mean, that's pretty awesome. And again, Misha, I'm gonna send this to you. If you watch it, thank you. Okay. The only other thing I ask is that if you watch this video and you like it, even if you don't like it, just tweet it once. Just once. That's all I ask. I don't think it's too much to ask for my love and adoration, but what can I say? Uh, by the way, uh, I just want to say that my only regret for this weekend is not being in Chicago to see this fight personally. This would be the one fight. Like, if there was a chance that I could get a ticket, cage side, because that's the only way I'd want to do it, or somewhere close to cage side, maybe floor seats, and I had the money, and I was off my day job, because you always got to think about your day job for some reason. I would go to Chicago. Oh wait, I am off, but I would go to Chicago, and I would sit cage side to watch this fight, and I would cheer on Misha, and I would proudly wear one of her shirts that I was going to buy but haven't yet. Uh, I'm going to be the loser that buys it after she wins, apparently. Uh, but I would. This is going to be awesome for women's mixed martial arts, and I can't wait. And I'm going to be sitting back, having a cold one, and cheering on my girl, because that's the way we do it. Now, Make sure that you subscribe. I've got plenty more good stuff coming up. And not just wrestling. I've got a couple of football videos coming up. Uh, preseason picks, by the way, college football and NFL. Those videos are coming very soon. Also, I'm going to do like a quick shoot, if you will, on the NBA and that whole mess that we're in. But until then, this is Chaos saying, should I even have to say it? Deuces, of course. That's what I always end my video with deuces. Why wouldn't I? And until next time, if you will, I shall see you guys later. Leave a comment. Follow me on Twitter. Like my page on Facebook. Both search The Answer Chaos. It's pretty simple. It's not a hard concept to get at all. And make sure that you follow me on Twitter for tomorrow night, especially because I will be live tweeting during the fight, or during the fights, but more importantly during the one that I'm looking more forward to. Marlos Conan defending against Misha Tate. I can't wait. I'm excited. I know everybody else is too. Let's just do it and get it over with. Well, you know what I mean.